Headlights Have Been Tailing Me for 300 Miles by GhostSoundGuy. Something that I'm sure everyone knows is that the good old USA is quite a big country, and with it being so big, people traveling can often find themselves traveling long distances for various reasons. I am sort of a driver. My job is to personally hand-deliver important documents from company headquarters to wherever they must go in the bounds of the US. It's in my contract that I have to drive myself. No flights, no Greyhounds. The company I work for has had issues in the past where employees, somehow, lose important documents and information by losing it on flights. I'm getting sidetracked. I started my most recent gig last night at around 7 p.m. Usually not too much traffic, especially on Thursday nights around my current hometown, but I noticed a pair of moderately dim headlights trailing 40 to 60 feet behind me on the interstate. I didn't stop or think on it too much, since that's not a really crazy occurrence. I stopped at around 2 a.m. for a pit stop and to rest a bit, when I noticed the same headlights just slightly outside of the unusual large parking lot of the truck stop. As soon as I turned to see if I could see what kind of car it was, the lights completely disappeared. Not just like turning off, they completely vanished when I blinked. At the same time, a light crash happened in the store, distracting me. An employee knocked over a small rack, which distracted me long enough for the whole headlight thing to slip my mind until later. 4 a.m. I was making steady progress on the road. I was crossing through the farmland of West Iowa when I noticed a pair of headlights slowly catching up to me again. This time I got paranoid. No other cars or any vehicles were in sight for almost 2 hours when this happened. Every 5 minutes it got about a few yards closer to me. After an agonizing 15 minutes, the headlights were tailgating me, and a vibration that sounded like a deep horn bellowed, and my car violently shook. I don't know if it was an alien, a government weapon, or what, but it made my heart run rapid. Luckily for me, a semi-truck had blared its horn as I almost rammed headfirst into it, as I unknowingly swerved into oncoming traffic going 70 miles per hour. As soon as I got out of the way, the headlights disappeared again. I was getting spooked super hard. I can't tell why this was happening to me of all people. I didn't think it was some mysterious force or something to do with the files I was transporting. That was just a small manila folder in a yellow envelope. Think rationally, I kept thinking to myself. It was probably just a guy in a lifted truck with road rage. I had been drowsy at the time, and I did start to slow down a lot around 3:45 a.m. I should stop at a motel and sleep. The nearest motel was a rundown shack-like building, lights on and everything, but no desk attendant. I didn't care, though I was exhausted, so I put $100 on the counter and took a vacant room key and crashed onto the shitty couch bed in the closet-sized motel room. That was yesterday. Today was not much better. There were actual people here, thank God. Around 9 a.m. I woke up to a cleaning lady who was nice enough, and I actually got the room I stole checked in for the next day as well. I figured I needed a day of rest to check my sanity after the crazy night I had. A local diner was open and pretty empty, except for a few workers and a cop eating breakfast at the bar by the door. I nodded calmly like a normal person and ordered pancakes. The news was playing. I didn't pay attention until I heard news of a grisly accident that happened to a semi last night. The news anchor on scene described what the body looked like in much more detail than you'd expect for morning news, talking about the sunken face and showing bones of the man driving the truck. Behind him was the truck of the victim, almost flattened like a soda can. It was the one I almost got smeared by last night. The thing that really confused me, though, was the headlights, perfectly removed, like they were surgically detached, lying stacked by the edge of the interstate. The headlights were the same ones following me. God, that new guy sure doesn't hold back. I heard the waitress mumbling to the cop. The officer didn't respond much other than by grunting. We were pretty close to the accident, so I'm sure he was probably one of the first on scene at the time. I heard he was a journalist mainly doing shock headlines before this. The chef chortled. He looked like a rhino and a walrus had a baby. I wanted to keep watching the news to see more of the scene, but I had to get back to my motel before too long. It was already about 2 p.m. I swear I was only there for half an hour at most. And the other people too seemed to be reacting to the time change normally. Weird. Anyway, I need a nap. I'm writing this so I don't forget, and as a sort of stress reliever, I still have about 1,200 miles left on this job. Whoever needed files sent from Detroit to LA, I hope you read this and apologize by paying me double when I get there.